I recently played through Titanfall 2 my first time and I made a review about it, which you can look at right here. But ever since I thought to myself, could I beat Titanfall 2 with only my mouse? If I map the necessary buttons to it. But first, here are the rules. I will play through the campaign of Titanfall 2 only using inputs from my mouse. Menus don't count, so I can press space to start a mission. If it is absolutely necessary, I can remap the mouse to progress. Spoiler, I had to do that a few times. And yeah, those are the rules. Here you will be able to see the inputs I make throughout the run, so you can see that I didn't cheat. Here are also the keybinds I will be using. I shoot with left click and walk forward with right click. With the side buttons I jump and slide. With the scroll wheel I reload, interact and use my special ability. With enough talking, let's get into the run. I immediately had to change my binds because I had to aim down sights for the tutorial. But movement felt good and got used to it pretty quick. Side hopping felt a bit weird though. I even got a pilot helmet in the training course. But to leave the training I had to remap another time to talk to Last Emosa. Now the game really begins, and this first assault went very smoothly. I played on easy because, well, I play with only a mouse and I haven't played on easy through the campaign already. I also used a new mouse, so the sensitivity was a bit off. Anyways, I make it to the cutscene trigger and end this short level. In this level, I had to get 2 batteries back to BT, which was a pretty simple task. It was a bit weird if you stand before a soldier and the only thing you can do is walk towards him, but oh well, it wasn't that difficult. The alien creatures were much more dangerous in that regard. I was just really used to melee the soldiers, but now I just stand before them and couldn't do anything. In this level I got this really cool weapon, the R201, which is a really good one, even without aiming down sights. Here in the section with the waterfall you are supposed to use a sniper, but I just ran past it. And soon I had my first battery, and then my second one. With BT I had to rewind once again, so I could use the missile launcher. From there on it was smooth sailing. It's just a bit weird to fight in a Titan without any special abilities. You basically shoot them until they explode. Getting into the facility was pretty easy, and I even did a speedrun trick to get to the button faster in the room. Now I and BT go separate ways again, so I can move pretty freely again. But I died the first time because this robot was exploding, so I had to move backwards. But I can't move backwards, so that happened. This is the first real challenging fight, because there are these mines that follow you. You are expected to walk backwards and shoot them, but I can't, so it was a bit difficult. Also the checkpoint system is pretty weird because you sometimes get checkpoints and sometimes you don't. A bit later I had to fight my first boss, which was pretty boring because I had to pump him full with like 3000 bullets. We get here our first new Titan loadout, but we can't really use it because we can't equip it, so we just have to stick with the old one. I also tried to pick up a pilot helmet but failed miserably. Second try was the try though. I also did this speedrun strat where you ride this wall which get pushed into, but I just died at the end, which felt pretty unfair. Soon BT gets kidnapped by a claw and we jump into the abyss. Get it? That's the name of the level. The factory was pretty simple, but I couldn't do some sick slide hops with the moving platforms. I also fell once because of the lack of movement. Next, the coolest part of any video game plays out. And we are in our first simulation dome. Here I just camped on the rooftops. But my weapon was out of ammo and the game didn't switch me to my secondary weapon. So I had to get a new one ASAP. In another simulation dome we meet up with BT again. And he had equipped another loadout himself. So I guess we will use this one from now on. In another simulation dome, we made Ash eat some rockets until her Titan exploded, and we left this facility altogether. Affecting cause was next on the agenda, and because of this level I had to bind my tactic on the mouse somewhere because I could progress otherwise. A few time jumps later we meet BT in this grand open area, but walk straight past him to get the helmet. We give him the helmet silently because we can't press the buttons to talk. Guess we are another silent protagonist now. We use the zipline BT makes and get the time shifting device. Now it got really complicated because I had to do another important task with just my right hand, but I am left-handed. Sometimes I shifted time even if I didn't want to, but I made it through the facility and got an achievement for killing a creature inside this cage. And I got another pilot helmet too. The fights also really started to ramp up, and I was closer to my death than I would like to admit because this is still easy mode after all. Anyways, we stop time and end the mission. Shortly after killing the robots waiting in front of the door, I had to get to retrieve an arc tool, but this tool is accessed by pressing C. But you get it put into your hands at the beginning. So I planned to do a pacifist run with the arc tool because it isn't really designed for killing. Sadly, as I loaded into another level, I had to bind C to my slide button because the game put my weapon into my hand. But because of that I couldn't switch to my weapon's back, so I had to do all of the beacon without killing anything. Sadly another roadblock hit because I had to move the cranes left and right. I couldn't just slide hop across the gaps because I can't really slide hop with this setup, but I got another pilot helmet. A lot of rebinding later I was back in front of the base with BT. where we had to kill the German-speaking Richter. I was surprised how much Richter spoke German even if you play in English.
Der kleine Junge.
The only Titan chapter was next, and well, it was just about spamming bullets into every enemy Titan you see. It got a little dangerous once or twice, but genuinely it was pretty easy. But on the way, my mouse just died. I don't have to charge this mouse that often, only once in 3 months or so, but it had to run out of juice exactly when I do this challenge. Even weirder was that it constantly gave out 2 inputs and nothing else worked. My trackpad, not even the touchscreen on my laptop. Just the keyboard worked the same as before. So I had to get a loading cable and continue playing with a cable now. This level has one of the most difficult fights in the whole game, on this enemy ship. But for that you first have to get there, which I obviously can't do. Even if you do make it, you have to fight through a lot of enemies, especially those right in front of the elevator. Normally I just chuck a few grenades back there, but here I obviously can't do that. After your crew comes on board, you have to do this epic jump on the side of the ship, which I also failed. Next try I did it and we cleared the whole hangar. On the bridge, we hack into the board computer to control the ship. And how do we control the ship? With the movement keys WASD. So I had to do a lot of rebinding. After that, BT is back and it's smooth sailing. We defeat Viper. I said we defeat Viper and we go to retrieve the Ark. Sadly the ship crashes and we get kidnapped by this dude. After that is the segment with the smart pistol, which is still very easy. Sadly we are stopped again because we have to call a new Titan because BT isn't in that good condition anymore. So we have to rebind one last time. Once we are in the new BT, we also get a new loadout, which is pretty cool. A bit later, we do a cool speedrun trick. Okay, the door just opened without doing the trick. Cool, I guess. And we make our way to the final boss, Sloan. We defeat her, go inside the cannon, BT sacrifices himself, do some more platforming, and we beat Titanfall 2 with just a mouse. As you can see, you can beat Titanfall 2 with just a mouse if you press space to load into LL and if you rebind your controls a bunch of times, but just in special places. The majority of the game can be beaten without rebinding. If you liked the video, like and subscribe, and see you next time. And download Skyscracher for free on itch. Bye bye!